Hey guys, welcome to Season 3 of In the Dugout. Joining me today is Aaron Smith. Today we are going to give you all things about our youth baseball nationals. But before we go into that, long summer. Aaron, what was it like on the grind this year, man?
I tell you what, man, I spent most of my summer in Cincinnati with you as well, so it was a great time. I thought it was a ton of fun, and all the teams that came out, I thought they had a great time. Definitely some highlights from week 1 and week 2 of the Cincinnati Nationals. But no, man, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, first, starting off with Cincinnati, you can't help but talk about day 1 of the Nationals when we all decide we're going to the Reds game. First off,
trying to go to the Reds game. I mean, Brooke, who's our hotel advisor, she said it best. It hurts that the Reds are good. And man, it definitely was a game.
First, it was sold out. You know, then you see Joey Votto hit a bomb. Mm-hmm. Then you see all these other different things going on. And lastly, it led to Ellie De La Cruz hitting for the cycle.
Uh-huh. Coolest thing I've ever seen in person. Coolest thing. The atmosphere was crazy with Joey, with Ellie, with just the amount of runs that were scored. Because I know we left a little bit early, and
we left in the 7th inning.
We were looking at it, and in the 8th, I think each team scored another 2 runs, and then the 9th, the Reds were up 2-3 runs, and the Braves were making a push, and it was a great time.
And then you go into week 2, and you're not able to have a Reds homestand, which that stinks, but they're still able to go to the Hall of Fame, right?
Yep, they're still able to go to the Hall of Fame. They're still able to get a stadium tour, unlike anything that anybody else can really get. They went in the locker room, they got on the fields, they saw everything. So, with the Reds not being in town, that's a bummer, but you still got to see anything and everything that you wanted to.
But even bigger than just the Reds, then you get Kings Island.
Yep, Kings Island was a heck of a time for both weeks. Some of the feedback that we got for Kings Island was the highlight of their trip. When we do the week-long passes, let's say you play a 10 a.m. game and a noon game, you can go immediately after that. Right, you play at 6 o'clock at night. You go before that. You can go anytime you want.
Yep.
So it was fantastic.
So that's one of the phenomenal selling points of Cincinnati. But talk us through. So we have 3 different locations, and Aaron will kind of get on the dates and what we got going on there. But we go to Cincinnati. Reno is as gorgeous as any facility in the entire country. And then Myrtle Beach. I mean, we love Myrtle Beach. So I'll let you touch base on dates and stuff of that nature. So
we'll start on the West Coast. With our Reno tournaments this year, you're looking at June 14th through the 20th, right? And then week 2 is June 21st through the 27th. Moving on, we'll go to Cincinnati Midwest. Week 1, June 21st through the 27th. Week 2, June 28th through July 4th. And finally, wrapping up with 3 weeks in Myrtle Beach. Week 1 is June 21st through the 27th. Week 2 is June 28th through July 4th. Finally, week 3 is July 5th through July 11th. So there's definitely a ton of dates in there, late June, early July, to get out and play some great baseball, have a great experience with your team and your families, and just go ball out.
Yeah, and I think we can't say enough good things about the Nationals. I was fortunate enough that I got to be a tournament director for a couple years doing the Nationals, and then I got to move into this role. But I will say, being a tournament director is like nothing else that you ever experience in this realm, because I remember going to Myrtle Beach for 3 weeks, and first off, you're like, gosh, Myrtle Beach is going to be terrible. Who wants to stay away from home? And then not including the setup week that we're there. So it's this crazy thing. But I remember week 1 meeting this team, and I talk about this all the time, but gosh, meeting those guys from Louisiana and just the way they embraced me helped me embrace the job. And I feel like we have those stories every year. I mean, we had Kaufman this year in Cincinnati, whose teams are taking him out to dinner and he's hanging out with them. And you're just like, the experience goes so much deeper than just the fields.
Yeah, and I think week 1 we had I forget the team name, was it Team Coastal? That we mic'd up and did a bunch of stuff with the kids, and that made their week. Yeah. You were going up to them on the golf cart before their games, just hyping them up, talking to them. Like I said, we got a ton of kids mic'd up, so I mean, just the experience of the Nationals. I never tournament directed. I just went right into the recruiting side of things, and then going on site and helping run those. But the atmosphere and the experience is nothing like I've seen before.
The Nationals we could talk about forever. It's just one, and we're just talking about the experience. We've yet to, Reno, you get what else?
You get the week-long Wild Island passes, and then new to this year, we're partnered with the Reno Aces.
Love it. Love that. So now you go west, you're able to see some of those games. Now you go Cincinnati, which see games, do a lot of cool things. What about Myrtle Beach? What is it about Myrtle Beach that you would say this is why you go?
I think Myrtle Beach, obviously you get the Myrtle Waves passes with your week long at the Nationals. But outside of that, I think the baseball in Myrtle Beach is I think it's the best baseball that we have around the country. And with the Nationals, are we getting the big, huge national teams to come out? Maybe, maybe not. But the amount of the lower end D1, D2, and even D3 teams that compete, I mean, it's incredible.
Well, and especially with, we haven't even talked about the format. When you talk about the format, just in pool play alone, we guarantee that you're going to play light competition. Now, what that does, that evens up the playing field for pool play. But that doesn't mean that D3 team ain't going to run into that D1 or that D2 ain't going to run into, and I've seen every single time, the ones that are there to just have fun are the ones that always go the furthest, then they end up like, wow, we made it here. And then they somehow find a way to win it. So
they do.
I don't, especially when it comes to the Nationals, like anything goes.
Anything can happen.
It's 6 days.
Exactly. I mean, teams can come in there hot as can be, win out in pool play, come out the first game of the single elimination bracket and get beat. I mean, I've seen it happen. It happened in Cincinnati, and it's like you said, anything can happen.
And that's what is so amazing about the Nationals, and that the thing is it drives itself. Like, we only had 24 teams that first week at Cincinnati, but it was still amazing to present those opportunities, to present the experience, we were able to be personable. I mean, when's the last time you could say you knew every coach's name at an event?
Yeah, really, I mean, it's tough to think that. And really, coming out of week one, I had different coaches that were asking me about the Youth World Series and different stuff in the fall, and when are your dates going to be out for next year? And it's, making those connections was the best part, I think.
Absolutely, because what we do is all about that. And I can't say it enough. What we do week long, there's no one that can do it. And I don't just mean from you get this, you get this, you get this. I mean, I'm talking about from people. We are genuine people who love the game. We want to stay involved in the game, and we want to provide these athletes the experiences that we were either afforded or maybe we didn't get to afford. And so, whether it be Cincinnati or Myrtle or Reno, why choose the Nationals? Why choose this event, and why bring your team to the Nationals?
I think first and foremost, it is the Nationals is an experience unlike anything else. Right, you have different other week-long tournaments out there, but what makes Nationals the Nationals is the teams that we get. Like you said, the event directors that we have, just everybody cares, right? Our fan shop, everybody is just so intertwined in what's going on right then and there that not really anything gets overlooked, right? We handle everything right then and there. The price point, it's one of the best in the business. I mean, we're half the price of our other competitors. So that certainly helps. It's just everything about our locations, the staff that we have there, the teams that come out. It is one of the best experiences I've ever had, not just as a recruiter, but playing time, right? When I was coaching, the Nationals fits every box for me.
Oh, yeah, because, and that's the thing that people don't understand. So at the Nationals, what we do, one, no protest. We don't do protest at the Nationals. But that saves a lot of things on our end where it's like, hey, get that tournament director. Let's find the solution now instead of letting the game play out and then you want to protest the game. No, let's fix the problem right then and there. And honestly, that's a huge sale because, when we go to these other places and we play in these other tournaments, yeah, there's tournament directors there, but there's not one at every quad.
No.
There's not one, that's just babysitting this field or this field. And then that's what makes it so different. I can think of so many situations that I dealt with putting out fires or, but a lot of other places you go, it's, hey, you got to call him, and then he's got to come down.
Exactly.
And yes, we have those situations, but for the most part, our guys deal with this stuff.
Yeah, and not to mention, when a game ends, right, you're talking to your tournament director about the score. You're talking to your tournament director about your all tournament teams, right? Getting those together, making sure that the kids that played well in that game are recognized. So really, I can't speak highly enough about our tournament directors and the way that we run tournaments.
And that, excuse me, but that comes from past experience, right? Like past kids that we've coached, past kids that we've been around, or people that are our friends. Like they genuinely care about our successes, and so that's where that comes from. But then you bat everybody.
Yep.
There is no repercussion for batting everyone, and we make that very well known. So it's bat 9 or bat everyone. And how about you walk us through the bat 9 or bat everyone?
Yeah. So our main point of emphasis with this is we want to see as many kids get as much playing time as possible, right? You didn't come all that way to have one of your kids sit the bench for the entire game. So when we say bat 9 or bat everybody, we want you to bat everybody. Especially in pool play, we want every kid to swing the bat, to get out to the field and to have a good time. Once you get into tournament play, can you be a little bit more strategic? Yes. But especially in pool play, bat everybody.
Yeah.
Let as many kids play as possible.
And that's what's talked about in the coaches meeting, and that's another side of this is when you first show up, it's so welcoming, it's so open. It's, hey, coach, let's have our coaches meeting. I'm going to walk you through. If you have any questions, then we'll just address them now. And I feel like we get a lot of things ironed out at our coaches meeting. So, that's your first experience when you walk in is the coaches meeting. Well, then you're going to go straight from that coaches meeting. You may have a little break, but probably not. You're going to take your team and you're going to go ahead and start skills on a warm-up field. And why don't you walk us through a little bit about what that opening day looks like? Let's kind of walk them through this day by day. Yeah. So we're day one. I'm a coach. I just showed up. What am I expecting?
First and foremost, you and your team are going to come over and see me, right? I'm going to be the one that's having the coaches meeting with you, specifically in Cincinnati. But either Bryant Miles or Brady Turner is going to have that coaches meeting with you there. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask us. After that, like he said, you're going to go over to one of the fields that we have designated for our warm-ups before our skills. Right? We want you all to get loose. We want it to be a fun atmosphere. We've got music playing.
Yeah, about 10 minutes, though.
Yeah.
We do try to keep them at about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes on the field, and then you're going to go right into our skills competitions. There, we've got our home run derby. We've got our round the horn. You run a 40 time if you're little. You run a 60 time if you're big. And then we've got pitcher velo. We try to work in a few other ones as well, like catcher's pop time. We like to ask some of the teams that are there, hey, what do you not do? When you go to tournaments and you have a skills competitions, what are some cool stuff that you want to see? So after that, what we'll do is we'll typically go into our opening ceremonies, which this year we're completely revamping how that looks. We're going to do a complete opening ceremony style, like parade almost.
Okay.
So that'll be a heck of a time, and after that, you're free to enjoy the rest of your day. Go to
coach's phone go?
I don't know, Tabor. Yes, we'll probably have coach's phone go as well.
Yes, hey, that was my favorite part, talking trash to the coaches.
I know. That is the one I always forget about is coach's phone go. Sorry, coaches. But no, that'll be worked into the skills.
I'm the coach here.
Yes, you're not wrong. But no, we'll work that into the skills competitions as well. But after that, everything is tallied up, and then your skills winners are announced at your closing ceremony.
Yeah, and so another cool thing, and not to downsize for the pool play, but the easiest way to explain it is a 2-2-1 rule. Or it could be 1-2-2 or 2-1-2. Either way it goes, across 3 days, you're going to play 5 games guaranteed for pool play, which is unheard of.
Yeah, that is unheard of.
Unheard of. And so you're going to play these games, like you said, may have 2 games on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, 1 on Monday, or it's in any order, guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you. 2-2-1, 1-2-2, 2-1-2. But regardless, this is the most beautiful thing about the Nationals. The off day.
The off day. Oh, I love the off day. Real quick, I do want to back up. On the games, or on the days that you have 2 games, you're either playing back-to-back or have a game in between. So, for example, if you play the 10 o'clock game, you're either going to play at noon or you're going to play at 2, right? You're not at the park all day long. We don't want to keep you there, right? We want to see everybody kind of go and enjoy the rest of their day. So
And I think people appreciate that.
I think they do as well, 100%. I've gotten so many compliments like, hey, I know other places have kept us here all day and haven't kept us in the loop. And one of our biggest thing, I know we had some weather come in for week 2, and my job is to keep everybody else informed. So I thought I did a pretty great job of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
we did. So what he's talking about is we had a rain day. Basically, it started monsooning in Cincinnati. And so about Cincinnati is they have 2 turf fields at the bottom, and then they have 4 dirt fields at the top, which, by the way, hold water. They're phenomenal. Like, this is just an absolute downpour.
Yeah. The Dayton Dragons grounds crew, the old grounds crew, came over to Warren County Sports Park, and they're the ones running it. That's what I told everybody. Like, you have a minor league grounds crew out here taking care of 4 fields. They're going to be playable. Yes. I promise you that.
Yes, they will gladly do that. But so we get rain. We get all the way to about 11:30, and we're like, all right, we got to finish these games. But once we finish these, what do we do? And I just remember, we have an off day. And that was so perfect because those parents didn't want to stay around.
Yeah.
Those people that weren't at the park, they were starting to show up. It was one of those crazy rains.
Yeah.
And so, like Aaron said, we get them out. And that's what's great about the off day is we're not stressing about how do we make these games up.
Do we play into midnight, 1 in the morning? Do we
don't have to
shorten games? Do we take away games? There's no need.
Exactly. And then we were still out of the park by 2 o'clock. So regardless if your games rained out that Saturday or not, you were able to play on Tuesday, and you're still gone by 2 o'clock. So if you wanted to go to Kings Island, if you wanted to go to the Reds museum,
you knew by 2 or 3 o'clock that, hey, the day's done.
Yep.
Go enjoy it. Go enjoy the rest of your time.
So then, typically we don't want to run into rain. We want that off day to be about the athletes, especially in Myrtle Beach and Reno and Cincy. We want them to enjoy
not worrying about baseball.
Not worrying about baseball. And that's where, honestly, we see a lot of these kids hit that reset button.
Yep.
This is where you see those 0-5 teams figure it out, those 1-4s, 2 and 3s. They start to figure it out because they get to just worry about life.
Yep.
And that's so cool to see. And then Wednesday, you play all the way up until the semifinal and champ games. So depending on your bracket, could go that way. But why don't you talk about some of the things that each team receives?
Yeah.
Just in terms of awards and nationals, I'll take care of AAGs. But what do they receive coming out of the last game that they play, whether it be early 8 a.m. or that championship game on Thursday?
Yeah. So each participant in the nationals receives the nationals branded ring that we rebrand every year. Right. It's a different look every year. That signifies them coming out to the nationals, having a great time, and really putting an end cap to everything.
Because Beyonce said, if you like it, you put a ring on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, each team will receive all tournament team award members, depending on how many kids really excelled in that game or those games in pool play. Could be 3, could be 4, could be 5. That receive all tournament invites and invites to our All-American games as well.
Yep.
And then we go over our skills competition winners. We had a bunch of different winners last year. I mean, different 40 times, different 60 times, kids hitting 8, 9, 10, 11 homers in our home run derby. They get awarded there as well. And then, of course, they get the star-studded MC, Tabor Klingelsmith, out there playing music, having a good time, setting the stage for them.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have so much more fun at closing than I do opening. Because
that's why we have you there,
man. But people don't understand. Once you spend 5 to 6 days with kids and the parents, and you end up with these inside jokes of I remember this one lady always, she was dumping her water bottle out or something, and it got on my foot, and I messed with her. So every time I drove by her, I had to let her know, like, hey, I'm driving by, don't dump your water bottle. But just little stuff like that. And when you're able to tie that into a closing ceremony, it becomes more personable. It becomes more meaningful because, like I said, I spent every day at the park with them. So I got to see, I remember our Canadian teams. They come out and they were talking about Joey Votto, and then they get to see Joey Votto hit a couple home runs. Well, what's the first thing I'm going to talk about? It's Joey Votto. Exactly. And so, but like Aaron just said, the all-tournament team. And so at the end of every game, each coach fills out the 3 best players from the opposing team and then hands them to our tournament directors. They then select who got the most votes. that's what's awesome about is what I love about our journey here is the Nationals and the Youth World Series all lead into BY. So for you that don't know, I am the director of baseball youth. And so it's cool to see these all tournament team members receive these awards because you can just see it on their face like, wow, I've accomplished something. And sometimes it's that kid that don't ever win the award and he just had a phenomenal week.
He did, yeah.
And it's so exciting. And again, baseball youth All-American games, we have 3 winter locations right now. And a lot of these athletes from the summer will attend in the winter. That's why our winter events I see do pretty well.
I think
I think
the winter events, I always love going to Texas for our winter events. I don't know what it is about. It's the barbecue, it's the weather, it's everything included. I love going
except for the first
Texas.
day rain.
Except for that. That's every year I've been there. It's happened.
It's gonna.
We just got to get over it.
It's just got to happen.
But seeing those kids that came from the Youth World Series, came from the Nationals, continue to come out to the All-American games is special.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it's not just those kids remember you.
They do,
and they make it known. Like Aaron, hey, I was in Cincy, and there. I remember us being in Texas, and I don't know if you'll remember this team, but KR Fast Pitch. Do you remember them?
I do.
Okay, so they come down, and there's 6 or 7 girls deep in Texas All-American games. Well, I'm emceeing down there as well, and I just remember them girls coming up, and Taylor, you remember us? We're from Cincinnati, and I was like, why are you here?
Why
are you in Texas?
Exactly.
But like you said, it's so cool to be able to just connect and relate, and I feel like that's what makes this brand so special is they are able to connect. And then even bigger than that, we help people.
We do.
We love helping people, and we don't want anyone to miss out on this opportunity. So Aaron, is there any specials going on for the Nationals? Any dates to keep up on our mind? What is some things going on for the Nationals?
Yeah, so right now we actually are announcing here a little bit later on one of the biggest promotions that Nationals has ever done. Now, I'll keep that silent. I'll let the email and our social media team do all that work, but it's going to be something where if you are interested in coming to the Nationals in any location in any week, the next couple weeks is the way to jump on it, right? We have our price increase on the 20th of October, but this promotion is going to last far longer than that. So if you are at all interested, please fill out an info pack.
Yeah. Get
in touch with me or Bryant or Brady, and we want to see you all next year.
Yeah, and so feeding off of wanting to see you guys next year, I think it's important, especially in this line of work, for you all to understand, jump on these promotions, jump on these prices early. Not only does it help you, but it helps us provide that experience when we know that, hey, we're going to have 600 or 700 teams across this, so we can do this. So lock in those promotionals, lock in those prices early, and let's say something happens to your team, that's okay. We can credit that team or another team that you go to a future event. And that's what I think is so amazing is a lot of, I'm not going to say any names, but a lot of other company providers just eat the money.
They do. They don't offer any type of solution to stuff happening, right? We get it, I get it, everybody in here gets it, that stuff happens, right? And there's no better way of just saying, hey, I get it, this is what we're gonna do. And just laying out a detailed plan so that way next year, when it comes across their desk, they know they talked to me. They know they talked to Brian or Brady or whomever was the one that was handling it for them, and they can go back and see what's going on, and we can pick up right where we left off.
Exactly, and if you're listening to, I don't want to miss out on, guys, we have 3 amazing dates for the All-American games this year. December 28th through the 33rd. I can't talk today.
It's all right.
December 28th through the 31st, we will have Houston, Texas, Irvine, California, and moving now to January 4th through the 7th is Panama City Beach.
Awesome.
So that is such an amazing date because you think about it, and Noah, our social guy, will be down there with us, and he knows how much fun baseball and softball fest is. But imagine setting the stage December 27th to January 1st. You're just following it up with an All-American games. And we've honestly had so many kids say, let's just do both.
Let's do both.
Let's
We're already
do-
there. Let's just keep the fun going.
Let's do
I
both.
tell you, I'm so excited to go to Arizona for Baseball Fest.
I bet you
I
are.
know our West Coast first year doing it. I'm so excited to go out there and see what it all has to offer.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. And so, anything else that you want to leave us with the Nationals? You said your price increase was October 20th.
Yep.
Big promotion coming up, so keep that on your all's radar. Anything else to leave these people with, leave us with, in regards to the Nationals?
Yeah, I mean, from day one of working here at Athletics and being around the Youth World Series or the Nationals, it was instilled in me early that you might not remember what the scores are to your games. You might not, but the experience will last you a lifetime, right? When I would do stuff as a kid and go around and travel, I don't remember who I played, except for Jordan Adele. I remember that one.
Because he had a 400-foot bomb, probably.
Yeah, he did. He was 10 and ridiculous. But I remember the experiences that I had with my teammates. I remember, laughing and joking around with the coaches and the parents and just having fun as a kid. And that's something that no matter what tournament we run, whether it's the World Series, baseball, youth, softball, youth, the Nationals, we just want to see everybody have a great time. And that's what we strive to do here at the Nationals, and I'd love to see you guys out there.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of Aaron Smith, I'm Tabor Klingel Smith, and thanks for joining us on another episode of In the Dugout.